I want to make several announcements before I begin the day's lesson. The first one and the most obvious should be that you probably already know since yesterday, or probably since Sunday when I send the schedule, that starting this week, our meetings are going to be 15 minutes longer. And the principal decided that we should be spending more time together in the virtual classroom so we can be a little bit less rushed and have more time to discuss the material. The other thing is that we have a test next week. Test number one will be at the end of the week next week. You guys have access to the test review, which has been in the website like for ages. So it's there. I've been telling you for weeks already that it's there. Please look into it. Start dealing with it if you haven't already, because what you see there is what you can expect to see in the test. You'll see everything that we have discussed, everything that has been assigned is fair game for the test. Every single selection that you were supposed to read that was assigned to you is fair game. And that includes today's selections and the selection that we will be reading in 2 days. That will be like should be like the end of the material of collection one. So then we can move on to collection two. The other news is about the upload of the work. You know that we have pressed the pause button on uploading work, not doing the work, but as far as uploading it, I told you stop. Okay, the news is that we are going to begin uploading work Thursday. Please make a note of that because you have to follow instructions precisely. And I'm very worried because some of you do not. Some of you do your own thing. And for this to work out, and your grade depends on it because this is a process that is automated. If you don't do it the right way, it will not count your work. So what you're going to do is starting Thursday, all the work that you have done since the beginning, since August, for the last 6 weeks, you are going to label correctly, as I've been telling you forever, with your full name, homeroom number, the date of the work, the title of the lesson. And on Thursday, you're going to begin uploading it via the College One LMS upload tool. Beginning Thursday, I'm going to give you 2 days to upload all of your work. I'm going to give you Thursday and Friday. Don't begin before Thursday. Thursday, then and Friday, you should be able probably to do it in a few minutes one day, but I'm giving you 2 days to take care of business. After that, it will be unreasonable for you to have any excuse unless you explain to me why you didn't do it, but just upload it beginning Thursday. And today, we will be introducing two new selections. Yes, I said two because we have to put pedal to the metal and because they all belong to one activity. And that activity is comparing plots. You'll be reading two selections that have very similar plots. Um, they both have to do with encountering a dangerous animal. And I would like to begin by asking you, have you ever had a close encounter with a dangerous animal? And when I mean a close encounter, it's not that you were at one side of a fence or that you were in a zoo and there was this glass barrier between you and a tiger. When I say close encounter, I mean physical contact. And remember that dangerous animals come in all sizes. They can be as large as an elephant and they can be as small as a mosquito, which is the deadliest animal in the world, in case you didn't know that. It's the mosquito. It's deadlier. You have more chances of dying by an encounter with a mosquito than dying with an encounter with Jaws, with a great white shark. So, guys, could you share with me any moment you had, or maybe not you, but maybe someone you know of, someone in your family, your dad, your mom, that they had a close encounter with a dangerous animal? Anyone? Have you, madam? You swam with a shark. That is hardcore. Tell me more. How did that happen? But what? Are you sure it was a shark? Was it I mean, like a real shark or a toy? And what kind of shark do you remember? Were you scared? Wow, that was maybe it was a retarded shark, right? Wow, that's incredible. I never heard of a student say that. Anybody else? Rattlesnakes. Wow, they're deadly. They're very deadly. And water moccasins, I've seen those, and I saw one very far away, and my hairs were on an end. My when I had hair. It's scary. Anybody else? Okay, Miss Julia made a joke here. She's saying she's encountered many mosquitoes. Well, haven't we all, Ms. Mercado? Haven't we all? Okay, so in this story that we're going to be reading today, the two selections, I mean, that we're going to be reading today, we're going to be comparing plot and setting. One will be a work of fiction, the one you're reading first, the one you're seeing now, The Sound of Thunder. The other one is a work of nonfiction. First one is a short story. The second one is an autobiographical excerpt that is narrative. So you can tell stories that are not fiction, like I just did now. What I did now is I told you a story. I told you it had conflict, it had character, it had setting, didn't it? The story I just told you, but it's not called a story. It's called an autobiographical. You can call it a memoir. You can call it an autobiographical narrative because it's not a product of the imagination. It's not something I made up. So you get that. When it's a story, you use the word story, it's automatically fiction, and if it's fiction, it's a product of the imagination. So there's a difference there. Please do not be confused. But they have similar structures, but they both come from different places. One comes from your memory, the other one comes from the imagination. So one is fiction, the other one is nonfiction. So one of the stories you're going to be reading today is titled "A Sound of Thunder." This is a classic sci-fi time travel story by Ray Bradbury, one of the giants of science fiction in the 20th century. And I would like for you to pay close attention to the way that the plot and the setting work together to create a gripping tale of technology gone wrong. Without the setting, I don't think it will be possible for you to have this story. So they are like joined at the hip, like we say. We already did this. Okay, one of the very interesting ideas that is explored in this story is the butterfly effect. And the butterfly effect basically states that small causes can have larger effects. Like the beating of of the wings of a butterfly can create a hurricane eventually. That's basically what it posits. It's not wild, okay? It's not a wild idea. It's when you hear and you understand it can be pretty reasonable. I would like to illustrate it with a poem. I'm going to show you a poem now that I like very much called The Nail. I need someone to read it. Thank you. What's the message here? A nail is a very small, insignificant thing. A nail. And look at what it says at the end. What was lost because of a nail? A kingdom. So what's the message here? Um, we're kind of like on track. Anybody else? The wants were legitimate in this poem. Anybody else like to give it a try? Thinking the significance of a nail and thinking the significance and value of a kingdom. What is it saying here? What's the message? What made the kingdom fall? I'm sorry? Interesting. Basically, very close, very close. The message here is that nothing, when you really look at things, nothing is insignificant. Nothing is insignificant. Small things can have large consequences. Something as insignificant as a nail, you see the chain, you're seeing the chain reaction right there. One thing led to another. And at the end, something large, a kingdom, an entire kingdom was lost just because of a little nail. You've seen the nails that they used to put horseshoes. They're pretty small. Because of such a little thing, a whole kingdom was lost. And you see the chain reaction there, how it happened. And the story, you're going to see that how something insignificant can have a large impact. I don't know if you have experienced this reality in your life, but I have. If you live long enough, you see how true this is. Take something like cancer, for example. Cancer begins with one cell, one tiny minuscule cell, and all hell breaks loose. So this is a warning to us also. I think that this is a warning to every human being, right? That we have to be careful because if something that might seem to be small, if we don't take care of it and take and control it, it can end up wreaking havoc in our lives. So that's a warning for you and for me, right? For everyone. Any question, any comment, guys? The literary concept that we will be exploring, our plot. You know what plot is. You know what setting is. I'm not going to redefine them. You understand what they are. The new one that we're seeing here is suspense. It's not really that new, but suspense is this feeling of excitement or anxiety of what may happen. And we already said that what creates suspense is foreshadowing. Like we give you like hints that something bad's going to happen, and you want to see if it really happens or not. And that creates suspense. And that what keeps you hooked to a movie, that keeps you hooked to a book. Suspense. And as we said, it sucks in real life, but it's great in entertainment. You're going to make a plot map of this. Remember that in the test, you will be working with a plot map, and you're going to be working with a plot map of a selection that you read. I'm not going to tell you which one. So if you have been practicing, if you've been drilling the plot maps as I've told you, then chances are when you see that in the test, you go, like, piece of cake. Or you might go like, oh my God, no. Uh, so I hope it's the former and not the latter. And I have a little surprise for you in this lesson. If you click that time traveling bubble there, you'll be able to see an adaptation in YouTube. So a little gift for you to enjoy. Any question about the sound of thunder? Oh, I'm not telling you, man. That would be telling. You're gonna see on the test. Oh no 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 no. No, remember what I'm saying is you're gonna do the plot map for the story the same way that I've been telling you guys to do plot map for all your stories that I ask you to read. In A Sound of Thunder, it's a cool story where in the future people can time travel to go hunting. You know that you read a hunting story already. You read The Most Dangerous Game, but in this story, rich people, if they have the money, they can pay to travel to any moment in history to hunt extinct species. In this case, this guy wants to go hunt a T Rex because he's bored. He's hunted every animal, every kind of game there is on planet Earth, lions and all kinds of animals, and he needs more excitement. So why not travel uh, in time to the distant past, to prehistoric times, and hunt himself a T Rex? Why not, right? You got the money, right? Why not? So, and there are rules for time travel, and if they are broken, things can happen. So you'll see the story. It's very cool. The other selection that you will be reading is Being Prey. I know that that looks a little bit gruesome. That's a real picture. I just wanted to show you how dangerous one of these animals can be. Back in the day, there were T Rexes, but today we have alligators, the descendants of these gigantic beasts that existed in the past. And I remember first time I saw, and one of the places that we visited was this place in Kissimmee called Gatorland Zoo. Gatorland Zoo. Sometimes they would shoot movie scenes there because they had this farm of alligators. They could shoot a movie scene there. And I saw the largest gator in the world. It was called Bob. Bob back then was 82 years old, and Bob was a girl. I don't know why they call him Bob, but Bob was a girl. And Bob was 21 or 22 feet long. So you want to have an idea, look at the tiles on the floor of your house. If they are 12-inch tiles, count 21 or 22 of those. A monster. A monster. My classroom, you know the size of my classroom? 21 feet is from the door to the green wall. And things like that exist. So you can imagine how much bigger a T Rex was. But in this selection that you're going to be reading, it's an autobiographical excerpt. It's an autobiograph that is narrative. And again, you're going to be comparing plot and setting between these two selections. You're going to be comparing them, which means that you're going to look for similarities. Remember, similarities is what comparing is all about, not differences. When we talk about differences, we're talking about contrasting. You're not going to be contrasting, you're going to be comparing. How are they similar? And you're going to be reading Being Prey by Val Plumwood. Val Plumwood, I don't remember if she's still alive or not, but she is or was an Australian environmentalist. These are people that want to protect the environment. And she had this horrible thing happen to her in the Australian outback. I don't know you, but I have no interest in ever going to Australia. I think that's the most horrific place in the world after the United States. Oh, well, for different reasons. In Australia, people seem to be very chill, very laid back, very friendly, I think, but that's my perception. But they have like horrific things there. They have like very poisonous animals. Uh, they have terrifying species there that can just kill you. I don't know why people live there. They have the most horrible spiders in the world. They have like these miniature jellyfish that if they touch you, you're like so dead. Um, they have all kinds of crazy things in Australia, and they have enormous alligators. So I want you to pay close attention to the way that the plot and the setting work together again in this tale of man against nature. In this case, it's woman against nature. And as you read both of them, I would like to ask yourself the question: how does the setting affect the plot or the writer's account in this case? We made this exercise a while ago when we had this lesson on setting. Remember that I told you, think in a TV show or think in a movie or think in a book where the plot and the setting are affected by each other. So you already did this exercise if you follow my instructions, and I'm just asking you to do it again with these two selections that you're going to be reading. Um, and again, I'm asking you here to answer the question that you already answered, right? Have you ever been attacked by an animal? Has anybody here been attacked by an alligator or T Rex before? Anyone? No? Well, good for you. Again, we're going to be seeing plot and setting. That's our going to be our bread. That's been our bread and butter here. And a question I would like to ask yourself is if you think that this story would lose any impact if it were fictional. If it were fictional, would it be less than what it is, or would it be more? You know how some people are fascinated with true stories. Like, for example, my wife, oh, I want to see that movie because it's based on a true story. And I'm like, as long as it's a good story, I don't care if it came from someone's imagination or if it came from a real person's experience. But to some people, the story being real adds value or takes value away. In my case, I don't go one way or the other. I just don't care. As long as the story is good, as long as it's interesting and it says valuable things about the human experience. You will do a plot map for this selection also. The pages are there. You guys are going to have to complete also the applying your skills. You're going to be working on your applying your skills section in addition to the plot map. And basically, that's what you're required to do. You're going to read both selections. You're going to work on the applying your skills section where you will be comparing both works. And you will do a plot map for each one. And this work you will send together because it's all one work. It's a long work, but it's just one work. And this will be part of the work that you will be uploading in the next few days. After this lesson, we have one more where we're going to be working with informational text. And after that, we have test review and the test. Regarding the test, how many of you have, before I talk about the test, is there any question about the selections that you're going to be reading? So the only person here is Mr. Marin. What about the rest of you guys? No questions. Okay, then that's the work now. I want to talk about the test for a moment before I leave. Um, have any of you taken tests in Microsoft Forms? No. Then I'm going. Lo voy a estrenar. Yeah. I'm not gonna be sending PDFs like I used to. Thank God. No, nobody. No, 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 no. You can't copy anymore. Um, it will be I already I'm working on the test. I already did one for history of Puerto Rico, but I'm doing one for literature. Test number one. I'm passing it onto that format, and basically, what you're going to receive in your email is an invitation to take the test. So make sure that you, the day of the test, you check your email, which is the one that you have from in your College One account. I'm going to be sending you an invitation and a hyperlink. You're going to click on the hyperlink and poof, like magic, the test appears in front of you. You will be given a certain amount of time to complete the test. It's not going to be days because that is crazy. It's going to be several hours during that particular day that you have to do a test that is a test that everybody does in a classroom like in 45 minutes or something like that. But I'll give you a few hours in case you had problems with your internet or whatnot. And when you do the test, you send it back to me. Boop, there's a button that send back, and it tells you what your score was right there, right then, automatically. It grades itself. I'm so happy. And that's how you don't even have to ask me, Soto, what did I know? You know already. Boom, it's there. That's what the test will be like in the foreseeable future. So I'm still experimenting to see, to acquaint myself of how this works, of the dynamics of the whole thing. But it looks very promising to me. And it is the tool that I'm going to be using. You check your email, boom, hyperlink, click, test, do it, push button, and it tells you your score, and it sends it back to me. And it's done. It's a done deal. Aren't you excited?